mean, all we know is what we were told, came out of the blue at the beginning of September, just an email that said, in fact, I've got it in front of me, it says, after a review of your account activity, we've determined you're in breach of our acceptable use policy due to the nature of your activities. And we've placed a permanent limitation on your account. They actually said originally that we could get the remaining balance out. We've not been able to. You try and do that and you just get referred around help centres. And, fortunately...
So they've stolen your money?
They have, for 180 days. They say you get it back at 180 days, or say you may get it back after 180 days.
Well, hold on a minute.
Yes,
I have to say, I'd be at the small claims court before then if I were you.
Well, you know what? So that was my first instinct. And then I just thought, this is a business. It obviously doesn't want our custom. And actually it leaves us with a real urgent problem to solve. So if I'm really honest, the first thing we did was just saying, oh my God, how do we get all the people that have got standing orders and direct debits going to us monthly? This keeps the lights of the organisation on. And we can't survive without that money. So how do we get them transferred? So we found an alternative. And I just thought, actually we're not going to put up with this. You can cancel our account, but you're not going to cancel us.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. This is a very clever, subtle way. Now, could it just be a coincidence that two organisations who have campaigned against lockdowns and campaigned for freedom of speech and freedom of debate on these issues, that in the same space of 2 weeks, they both happen to have their accounts closed down for the same reasons given, i.e. you're in breach because of the nature of your activities, exactly the same wording that the Free Speech Union got. Is there a concerted attempt to shut down some of the organisations that have been speaking out on these issues? I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I'm thinking, yes, there is a concerted attempt.
Well, and it's not just the two of us, Julia. There's a whole swathe. I think there's about 5 or 6 organisations now, and it's organisations that have taken a controversial standpoint on particular issues. Gender issues. How dare you? How dare you speak up? And it's very indicative, actually, of what we've seen for 2 years now, which is anyone that dares challenge the orthodoxy gets slated in the media. Yeah. You get smeared, you get trolled, you get abused, you get accused of misinformation, and it's a really, really horrible atmosphere.
Yeah, you just mentioned that you think it's about trans issues, because that's something, again, that Free Speech Union is protected on. You think that actually may be the key thing that they think you've breached the rules on?
I suspect, I'm speculating at this point because we didn't get an explanation. I'd be surprised if that was the case with us, because we've not really touched that as a campaign. We're far more known for our stance on school closures, on masks, on the children's vaccine, where, obviously we did take a relatively controversial, I think it was a perfectly legitimate position.
Well, it's borne out by the number of parents who did get their children vaccinated, so you clearly were representing...
Well, it was borne out by the JPVI, Julia.
Yeah, the body recommending, they didn't think the children needed this, exactly. Well, again, it's all very suspicious, and I know an awful lot of people are closing their PayPal accounts, quite understandably, to saying we don't want to give our business to a company that thinks it can regulate our freedom of speech. But I think absolutely this is something where we think the government could speak up. Liz Truss, the Culture Secretary, Michelle Donlan, I'm certainly going to ask Therese Coffey, if I've got time, I'm going to talk to her later, the Health Secretary, about this, because this is something they should be speaking up on.